it right, Mr. Ayo.
That's correct. Shoyombo. Hi, everyone. Pleased to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. They're both financial experts and they've been married about 60 years. So between the two of them, they have over 20 years of experience in the financial industry. Last but not least is my colleague, who is the head of regional head Southwest Asset Management, Norimbeja Asset Management, Oluwole Oni Todimu. Sorry, I lost her on the screen.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Todimu.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So basically, we're just going to be having a very quick chat today surrounding, investing in your child's future, what it takes, what it entails. And we're going to balance that out by talking a bit about parenting. So we're going to jump straight into it. And I'm going to start off with Mr. and Mrs. Shoyombo. So I'm going to throw them the very first question. So a lot of people assume that, because it's a dual parent household, there's this ideology that there's going to be more money. But, what happens in the case where one person has work and the other person doesn't have work? Do you understand? I want you to kind of run us through what your ideas are around managing this style of parenting and building for the financial success of your kids.
Okay, thank you, Binabo. Hello, viewers all over the world. Thank you for having us. So yes, I agree with you. There's this misconception around people believing that when you have people working, parents working together, there's this misconception around it that it means more money, around that. But for dual parents working together now, both the husband and the wife, yes, one thing for us, I would say, yes, we do that. But, I tell people that you just do whatever works for you. There's this saying, I would say the female gender should please forgive me for this, but some will say, okay, my money is my money and your money is our money. There's that understanding. So for me to answer your question, I think once there is understanding, once both parents have the same financial values, they share the same financial values, I think that will go a long way in helping them.
Sorry, Ayo, I don't know if it's just me. I can't hear you properly.
Hello, can you hear me now? Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Ayo.
Okay.
Ibinabo, can you hear us?
So you guys can see that.
Okay, Binabo, can you hear us now?
Please, Ayo, yes, I can hear you now. Apologies. Please continue.
Okay. So for us, what we practice is there's this understanding. We have shared values when it comes to finances. So yes, it goes a long way in helping. But I don't know if Buki has something to add to that.
Okay, in addition to what he said, it's actually a misconception because there are some instances where even where the two parents are working, they may not earn as much as when just one parent is working. Even when one person is working, the person might earn more than what two parents are earning combined. So it's not a matter of who is working or how many people are working. I think it has to do with the mindset, the vision. Do we have, as parents, do we have the vision that these children we want to build financial security for them? If we have the same goal, the same drive, whether I am the only one working or both of us are working, I think the drive is what is important and our vision. So if we have the same vision, the same goal that we want to achieve for our children, then it doesn't matter who is bringing the money or how much is coming in. It might even be the least account that we open for them, but at least we are doing something. So I think that is it. Thank you.
Fantastic. That was so insightful. So what I'm getting from that is really about the vision. I'm going to jump immediately to Okwe and ask her On the other side of things, right, as a parent, does a single income make any difference to how you make decisions for your child or children's future?
Another interesting question because I'm trying to look at it from the two perspectives. And I and Bukola have said something around two. It's possible for there to be two parents, but both income combined is not even substantial enough as maybe when one person is working, which is very valid. But having said that, I want to think that of course, they always say two heads are better than one, right? So at different times, at different, seasons, there's always a preference for a combined income, right? And in cases where it's just one, I think that it sort of tells, because at the end of the day, it's just you and there's the other person that there are two and they can bring their income together. So we're looking at it from just one perspective. What if the two parents are earning huge, each, and then they bring it together? So again, two truths can coexist, right? If it's one person, it's one income. You'd never know. It could be that they're earning more than two parents somewhere, and it could be the other way around. But what I know and what I can say to you here and now is that a combination of two incomes will certainly be better than just one, because two people are coming together, right, to put together their income to raise their children, as against just one person. So whichever way you look at it can be right, right? Because two truths can coexist. So yes, that's my response to that. I hope you can hear me, Binabo. Just so everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Ibinabo, you are muted if you are speaking.
No, I'm not. I'm with you. I'm agreeing with her. Hello, apologies, we wouldn't be here discussing financial success and future and all of this without at least some small glitches. I guess there are also roadblocks when you are building for your future. So I'm going to go to the expert now, our in-house expert, Todimu. I hope you can all hear me. And I'm going to ask Todimu, where does Noren Berger come in the grand scheme of things? And is there such a thing as too early to invest or to save for your kids? Is there such a thing, starting too early? What are your insights on this?
Okay, thank you, Binabo, for this question. I would say there's no such thing as starting too early when it comes to saving or investing on behalf of our kids. And this is because the earlier you start, right, the more time your investments have to grow. And this is also as a result of the beauty, right, and power of compounding interest. So you can simply start by opening a savings account with a child-friendly bank, I guess, and then looking out for, should I say, a fantastic fund manager such as Noren Berger that can provide kid-friendly mutual funds or products so that you can actually start early. So I would say investing for your child's future is a very smart move and fantastic move. It's not too early or too late to start. The whole idea is start now that you know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Todimi. Straight to the point and, succeed. Start now. So just rubbing off or going off what Todimu said, I'm going to come back to Ayo and Buki and ask the next question. So you're both married. It's very easy for people to assume, again, that people who are together share the same values. But what happens when you don't share the same values? How do you then manage to teach your children about money? So do you teach them as a couple, or do you show them your individual styles?
Okay. Thank you once again, Ibinabo. For us, I think we have been lucky. We both share same values when it comes to finances, and we have been able to pass that down to our kids, and we are still doing that because it's a continuous thing. However, not everyone may be lucky as myself to have partners that share same values when it comes to finances. So for me, what I will advise such a parent, if there's a parent listening to us and your partner does not share same financial values with you, for me, it's not a problem. All you need to do is to educate. I just use the term financial literacy. You know, education is key. You need, because when we talk about, passing this thing down, this education down to our kids, most of the time kids learn better when they see you do what you are talking about. And so you cannot actually pass that legacy, that financial education, to your kids when both of you as parents do not have the same understanding as regard finances. So education is very key in educating the other partner who is not well, knowledgeable in the area of finances, and not just to teach, it is also to ensure that you practice what you are talking about. For example, if you are trying to encourage your kids to start saving at an early stage, then as parents, you also should do that. Let your children, your kids be aware that you also save. I remember when I was a kid as well, I saw our parents using this, what the Yorubas call kolo, piggy bank. They were dropping something in there, and we also saw them do that. And so we also, tried, they inculcated that habit, that saving culture into us. So for me to answer back to your question, as long as parents are ready to educate themselves, it will go a long way in also passing it down to their kids. Thank you. Or do you have anything to add?
Yes, in addition to that, I think it is very, very essential that both parents share the same value when it comes to financial education for their children. Because imagine one parent saying one thing, maybe try to encourage the child to save, and the other parent is saying, no, you don't have to save, just go and spend it away. And the child is confused. And the child is like, what's daddy and mommy saying? So it's very important for parents to agree, for them to share the same value when it comes to this, because it will help the child, it will help the children to be sound when it comes to financial decision making. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayo and Bukola. What I'm getting is legacy is important, shared values really have a place. And just to make this a little exciting, when Ayo said Kolo, I started thinking in my head, what is Kolo in my native dialect? So maybe in the comment section, if you're listening and you're watching it, tell us what Kolo is in your native dialect. So moving on to Okwe, speaking of values, we just spoke around what it is to have shared values as a couple. I'm just wondering, I would say that this is also a misconception, but I might be wrong. A lot of people have this ideology that single parents have a way of overcompensating with their kids. So, you want a new car, I'll buy for you. You want a new toy, I'll buy for you. You want to go to this school, I'm tired of this school, they'll change your school. What are your insights on this? Are you here to break the myth, or are you agreeing with the general opinion? Okay.
I would say that, thank you, Binabo. I would say that any child can be overcompensated, or anybody can decide that this is how they want to train their kids, regardless of being a solo parent or not, right? So as a couple, right, as a family unit, the two of you, or even one person, can be the overcompensator, in quotes, for lack of a better word. So what I'd say to that is, I think that is based on individuality. I don't think it's because this person is a single parent or this person is a solo parent or not. I think that it's just us as parents, and it's how people decide to bring up their kids, no matter, the family structure, right? But having said that, and I know that this is a very common thing that we see around, my child doesn't lack this, I'm going to do this and do that. As much as that is good, or that appears good, it's also a way for us to, there's also a way for us to sort of tone it down. And this is not to say that you shouldn't provide for your kids. Obviously, that's why you're there, to provide for them, but also to build a future for them as well. So imagine overcompensating now, and then you don't have anything built up for them in the future when you're not here, right? And that's where I'll sort of chip in the fact that we have to consciously be able to let the children know that there are certain things they cannot have now, and that's because of the future. Delayed gratification is a very, very important part of for a child to understand. Is a very important topic to teach a child. You cannot have this now because this has to happen later. And it's not just, oh, you cannot have this now. You should be able to explain to them why, because it also helps them to understand the reason that it's not just because you cannot have it, it is because of 1, 2, 3. And children are not dumb. They understand everything that you say. I know they try to push, they know how to press some buttons, but when you explain to them, they understand what you're trying to say, and they understand clearly what it means, right? So again, I would say that as much as we want to spoil the kids, maybe once a while is good. You can decide, oh, maybe this month or next month, or they have done well in their studies or something like that. But we should always be careful of how we train our children and how we sort of overcompensate. At the end of the day, they will appreciate us better if we're able to provide for them and make plans for their future as well. So yeah, that's my opinion on that, and that's my insight to that.
Thank you so much, Okwe. I am learning so much. If you're just joining us, don't forget, this is a very special webinar powered by Norren Berger, where we're talking parenting, kids financing, and the future as that may be. So, Todimu, over to you. We've heard from the parents. I also believe you're a parent. What do you think? So, I'm going to give a case study, right? I remember growing up, I don't know how many times an auntie or an uncle gave me money, and I only heard about this money. I never saw this money. Then I'll remind my mom, I'll remind my dad, and they'll just shoo you away. So there are a lot of instances like that where kids will say, "You took the money Uncle Jimmy gave me," and all of that. Where does Norren Berger come in? Because I know there's a product called Norren Kickstart. What is the essence of that product? And how can it curb these habits of parents taking money that they did not give them? Please.
Thank you, Binabo, for this fantastic question. So it's a major thing. I think it's something a lot of parents get to inherit, right? So there's even the story of having to go for maybe a naming ceremony, and then you want to give the child a gift, and then you say, oh, okay, take mama baby, take for the child, and the child, yes, is a baby, doesn't do anything about it, and that's the end, right? So we have a couple of people that say, you know what, send me the baby's account number, the child's account number, then I can deposit this money in there, and then you can do something for the child, So that's the whole idea, right? The Kickstart account was created, I would say, by Norren Berger Asset Management to offer a kids-friendly product that would help parents and guardians achieve their children's financial goals. And this is more like saving for their education, whatever plans they have. It can even be for their upkeep. It can also be a wealth transfer tool, right? So you set up a structure whereby income goes into that investment account, and then when the parents are no longer there, this income can actually be used to cater for whatever needs that they have, more like creating a financial structure for them. Yes. And then I will just go down straight to the characteristics of the Northern Kickstart, right? So this is a product that is tenured for, I would say, 21 years, irrespective of how old the child is, right? So, and then you can actually withdraw about 35% of your total account balance. And this is on an annual basis, right? So you can't take more than 35% of whatever your account balance is. So if, for example, you have an account balance of 100,000 naira today, you can't take more than 35,000 naira from that account. It also offers you like competitive, should I say competitive return on investment? And that's because it's, should I say, it mimics what is actually going on in the system, right? So for example, it's currently benchmarked against an average federal government 5-year bond, which is roughly around the 17-18% levels, right? And that means at this point, you're able to invest for your kids, and then you're able to get competitive returns on that investment. And then I would say minimum deposit, right, on this product is 100,000 naira, and then minimum contribution, subsequent minimum contribution of about 5,000 naira. So it's pretty much flexible, and then you can decide what your periodic contributions would be. It can be monthly, can be quarterly, can be biannually, or depending on what your cash flow is like, right? So I would say, do not procrastinate, right? Start now. And I would say start investing now, fund your accounts, right? Investing for our children's future is a strategic decision that I would say pays off in a long run, on a long run rather. So please start now. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. We'll start now again. Don't use all the money they've given us birthday presents. Sorry, Todimu, just before you go, and I move to the next question, I wanted to ask second part of that. What happens to parents who are maybe ethical or faith-based investors? Does this Northern Kickstart cater to them?
Yes, it does. So like I mentioned, it's benchmarked around the 5-year federal government bond. It's strictly invested in ethical products, right? You do not, or should I say ethical contracts of government securities. So there's really nothing to worry about. The whole idea is whatever income or principal that is being put in that investment is used to cater to your kids or your children's needs and creates more like a financial stability for them in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Todimu. So I'm going to circle back to our parents and our financial experts in the house, Ayo and Buki. And I'm going to just ask, even though this is more like towards the aspect of parenting, how do parents, who both work, learn to prioritize what is more important in building financial security for their kids? How do you make that decision as both parents who are actively working?
Okay, thank you, Ibinabo, for that question. For parents who both work, just like our other panelist, Okoyemi, right, if I'm not mistaken, said the other time, she said 2 heads are better than one, of course. So when 2 parents are working, of course, you expect that there should be more knowledge, there should be more idea, there should be more input from both parties, and this will go a long way to solidify their decisions. So if both parents are working, they will, especially in terms, we are discussing finance now, children finance, children investments and all that. So when both parents are working in a financial organization, it helps, it goes a long way because both of them will be able to sit down, share ideas together. Okay, this is what I heard today. This is what I think. Why not let's do it this way? And then at the end of the day, they come up with a solid decision to make for the child or their children. So I think when both parents are working, it really goes a long way than just when one parent is working, because at least there will be more ideas, there will be more opinions, there will be diversity of opinions, and it's going to help in their financial decisions. So thank you.
Okay, let me just to buttress our point, how do parents, how do they establish a financial security for their children? Our listeners need to understand that when we talk about financial security, we are talking about, having resources that can cater for both current and future needs. So how do you build that on behalf of your kids to secure their future financially? Just to buttress our point, I think having the same value, financial value, is key. I've said that the other time, but at the same time, I would just like to say this for the benefit of parents who are here. We need to start. Number one, we need to start using the financial instrument. Number one, when Todimu talked about the Kickstart product, it's a way of savings plus investment. So parents should start investing, saving first, but not just save, move from the position of savings alone into investment. We need to educate. I'm going back to financial literacy because for us, this is very key. We need to let our kids know about how money works, teach them how to earn money, teach them how to save, teach them how to invest. At the same time, I would like to say this as well. When we are talking about building the financial security of our kids, I must say at this point that parents need also to look inward and look at their own finances, because as a parent, your finances has an impact on the finances of your children you are trying to build. So are you also not in debt? These are things you need to look at. How are you managing your finances? Just like I said the other time, you must be able to do whatever you are teaching, whatever you are preaching to your kids. So you do that, your kids see you do that, and it will help them as they continue their journey in life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that let me at this point just say that Mr. and Mrs. Shoyombo, this is cheating because two of you are in the financial industry. So the kind of financial success your kids are aligned for. But that aside, I'm going to come to Okwe. They mentioned something about financial literacy, and this is where I think it would be a very interesting way to understand that, as a single parent, or as a solo parent rather, how do you prioritize for things like generational wealth, retirement, a will, an estate, all of that, or even after death? Because I think it's something that a lot of us don't consider. We want to live for 1,000 years. Then what happens when you're gone? So as a solo parent, how does that affect solo parenting?
I don't think it affects it differently. And I know that when a lot of us hear will, we're afraid, we're like, please, I don't want to hear that. I'm going to be here for long. But it's inevitable. Savings for me has always been a habit. And I think that it's been like that since I was much younger, which goes back to what Aya and Bukola have said about, starting young. You want to train your kids. I don't remember anybody training me for that, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it was just inbuilt. But I know that I saved a lot for the future. I just always thought, oh, there's always a need to save for the future. I'll always need something in future. And at the end of the day, I think that it worked out, or it works out, because what you want to be sure of is that when you're not here, your child is secure, or your child has the financial security that they need. To all the funds that she will need for whatever it is that she will need in future. And it's always very important for us to consider that as much as possible. So you're teaching the child financial literacy, you're letting the child know you have to save for this season that might come. And I know we call it rainy day. And it's also why we have companies like Norin that can help us, put together that package, even if we're not as financially literate as I am, Bukola here. But I think that it's a good thing to always think about the future. And in cases where we're not as financially literate as we should be, then that's why we have companies like this that can help us put our savings together, put our investment together as much as possible so that we can, save and be sure that we have security for these children at the end of the day. And I think that it's always very important as well. So apart from education, there are also other things, especially thinking about the fact that we will not be here forever. You want your child to be able to stand and your child to be able to be strong financially, because again, that's how they can continue to grow and continue to be whatever it is they need to be in the future. So at the end of the day, I know that we have a lot of things that we need to put in place, but investment is a very, very important part of parenting. And I think it should be taught, it should be learned. And I think that we should also always seek financial advice, from people from Todimo, who can guide us in places or guide us in better ways to do this. So yeah, I would say that it's essential for every parent, no matter who you are. If you're a solo parent, if you're both parents, it's an essential commodity for us, and it is essential for us to always have our kids know this.
Ibinabo.
Okay, everyone. I'm so sorry about that. I was gracefully relocated network. So thank you, Ope. I got a lot of what you said. Very insightful. We are now coming to the end of the conversation. I mean, we're about to start rounding off. I'm coming in with my final questions, but please don't forget you can drop your questions in the chat section. We will be answering. So, Todimu, I'm going to come back to you and ask. I've been asking you as a financial advisor the questions around Kickstart and the product, but as a financial expert, do you think solo income or dual income should affect the financial security of any child?
Okay, thank you, Binabo, for this question. So I think Ope mentioned something similar earlier on, right? I don't think it should affect the financial responsibility or that is supposed to be done by the parents, right? I would say ultimately what matters is the fact that the parents, irrespective of whether they're single or dual, right, should just ensure that their children are thought about the money management skills, saving for the future, and just ensure that everything they do, right, they understand the reason why they're saving. They understand the reason why, oh, uncle gave me this money, right, but I'm not going to give you now. I'm going to save it for you. And then you can actually see that this money is growing. So you let them know that, yes, I'm taking this money, but I'm not using it to buy things for myself, right? I'm actually saving it for your future. And then I'm also teaching you how to most likely save, right? So for example, I would tell you that um, it goes as far as these little things such as party packs, right? So the moment you tell your kids, oh, do not eat these things until I know about it, right? Even if anybody gives them money and says, oh, take your social person's child, right? Take and use it to buy anything nice for yourself. They would still come and make sure and say, oh, mommy, I got this money from uncle or auntie, right? And then you say, okay, no problem, bring it. Let me save it for you. And then at Christmas, right, for example, you can use it to buy something nice for them, right? And then they understand that, okay, this is as a result of what I saved earlier on, right? And then you can also use it for their upkeep, right? That's something for Christmas. You can also use it for school fees, you know. So these things go a long way. So irrespective of the fact that you are the only one earning an income as a single mother, or both of you are earning income and then you're in charge of your children's lifestyle, you must ensure that they understand or they have good financial habits. And then that way they would understand that you're not punishing them, but you're rather saving for their future. I hope that addresses your question. Thank you.
Ibinabo, you are muted in case you are speaking.
Thank you, Todimu. Thank you so much, Todimu. And I must really say thank you, Ayo. You are really keeping me on my feet every time I go out of it. You remind me. So, I mean, we've come to such a beautiful conclusion, but I'm not going to let my speakers go without their final thoughts. And I actually want Okwe to ask your questions, but before they share their final thoughts, Okwe, I specifically want you to speak to the place of community in raising financially aware and savvy kids, because you obviously run this beautiful community called Super Mom. Maybe you can speak a little to what it is and just, speak on the place of community. Then I will have all my speakers giving their final thoughts after they've answered the questions we have. So, Okwe, over to you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I do not take it for granted. I think that the essence or the idea of having a support system cannot be overemphasized. With solo parents, with both parents, I think is very, very important. It takes a village. And it takes a village, not just because it's just you, it's because it actually takes a village. No one can raise a child all by themselves. You would see a child outside, oh, can't you greet? Oh, did you greet me? Did you say hello to, it's just a combination of different things and different people that help you raise your child. And at the end of the day, we understand how, it could be a little lonely for women who are raising their kids by themselves. Apart from it being lonely, you have the different stereotyping as well, which was what led me to this community. I know that most solo moms or most solo parents, so not to even just streamline it to women, men as well tend to keep to themselves because you're not sure of how the next person is going to judge you, or you're not sure of how the next person is going to relate to you or with you because you're a solo parent. And I understand that sometimes it's easier to talk to people that you're in the same shoes because they can relate. So it's easier for you to have conversations. It's easier for you to vent to somebody who is in the same shoes with you. And they will understand better just because they understand, oh, I've been there, don't worry, I understand it. And the Supermom community was a community that I thought about in the place of loneliness, where, because you're just, you're a solo mom, you don't really have people to talk to because you're also scared. Right. And the goal of this community is simply to focus on solo parents who, want to connect with each other. They want to bond, they want to engage, but they don't know how to do it, or they don't know where to do it, or they don't know how, to start or with whom, right? Which is why this community started. The goal is for these women, this group of women, to be able to come together, share their unique challenges, their triumphs, support each other, inspire each other, essentially just for you to come together as a group of women and support each other. That's really it. And our core values are simple: is resilience, is inclusivity, it is accountability, it is community. Just, oh, I have these guys that have my back. That's all. And I have these guys I can always call on. I have these guys I can always talk to. So that's essentially what the community is about. Like I said, it's focused on single or solo moms or solo parents who, just need a space a safe space where they can communicate with each other, support each other, and inspire each other. That's really what Super Mom community is about. And I hope that any single mom or any solo mom here is able to join us. It's free. You can come in. We have a link in bio. Our Instagram page is Supermom Community at Supermom_community. So you can follow us. You can check it out. It's new. It's a new community. We're only about 200 right now. We're looking to grow, meet from time to time, and really just to have a support system where you can share your values, share your issues, and encourage one another. Thank you very much, Ibinabo.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Ope. Thank you so much. As someone who was definitely raised by a village, I would say that I understand how powerful community is, and thank you so much to all the panelists. So before we go, we have some very interesting questions. I'm going to start at the top. You're welcome, Ope. I'm going to start with Todimu. So someone has asked that how safe is the Norin Kickstart investment, considering that it is being invested long term? In the event that any unfortunate thing, occurs, how does Norin Berger mitigate this type of situation? So Todimu, that question is for you.
Thank you, Binabo, for this question. Okay, it wasn't your question, but thank you for bringing this question to me. So I would like to reiterate the fact that these funds are actually kept with a custodian, which is a tier 1 bank, UBA. And then for the fact that it's invested for a longer period, right? They're invested in government securities, I would say instruments such as FGN bonds and treasury bills, right? And then given the nature of the fund, because it's for the financial security of our children, we would not take undue risk on these funds. And that's why I also mentioned the fact that it also speaks to the ethical investors, right? So we would not take any undue risk on this fund. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Todimu. So I hope that whoever asked that question, you are still on the call and you got the response. So the next question, I would say that I would want. Okay, thank you so much. I'm so sorry about this network situation, but I'm going to go to the next question. So the next question is actually very interesting, and I think it's Todimu's question, but I would also like the couple to answer because Caleb Ndukwe says he is not married. But he would like to start this question in two parts. What does everyone think? Do you think you need to be married before you start investing for your kids unborn? And then Todimu also, in terms of Norin Kickstart product, can he also start investing for his potential kids?
Yeah, thank you. If it's Binabo still talking, I can't hear you.
I'm here. Can you hear? Did you hear my question?
Yes.
Yes, by Caleb, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, the question is around the Kickstart product, which Todimo will speak to. But for me and for us, I think I like the idea of, the interest of trying to invest for your kids, even though you are not married. I wouldn't know the person who have asked this question, Is she a single mom or just not married generally? But I need to commend that that interest of wanting to invest. That speaks volume. But I will leave it to Todimu to react to that based on the Kickstart product. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ayo. So the Kickstart product, right, is for parents that already have kids, but I would say we can actually that's why we're an asset management company, right? There are other products that can actually be set up for this kind of goal. So for example, it can even be a money market fund investment that can be tagged as an account two. So account two means whatever funds I'm saving on behalf of my unborn kids can be put in that fund. And the moment the moment you start having your kids, you can actually then migrate these funds to the ignoring Kickstart product. So really, that's why we're an asset management firm. We come up with the flexibility of these products to suit your investment goals. I don't know if that was able to address your question. Thank you.
So in case you haven't noticed, I've switched to another account because obviously my identity is not letting me identity. But on another question, right? Someone also asked, this is going to be our last question, and I'm going to encourage our listeners that you have more questions, please contact us on our social media DMs. We also have we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on X, formerly known as Twitter. We might not be able to answer your questions on this webinar, but we would be willing to answer. So I'm going to ask one last question. Someone has asked that if you are in the diaspora, can you also invest in Noren Kickstart for your kids?
Oh, yes, you can. So it's a variant, right? It will just then be in USD, which is I would say, most acceptable foreign currency. So if it's euro or pounds, it most likely would have to be in USD. And then every other thing would apply on it. But it would then be invested in USD denominated products. Or rather instruments to help provide that yield, right? But what I spoke to earlier on was the fact that it was going to be invested in Naira. But if you are outside Nigeria, you can actually reach out to us at Nora Baja, and then we'll put you through on how to go about it. Yes, I hope that addresses that question. Thank you.
You're speaking on mute, Ibinabo.
Following everything Todimu has said, I want all our speakers, to give their final thoughts. And I would like to start with Ope because you helped unmute me, so you might as well just run us through on your final thoughts.
I think that is amazing to raise kids, and it's amazing to give them the best life and the best future that they can have. So I would encourage everybody. Part of being a good parent is also providing for your children and providing and making sure that they're set aside to excel and to have a secure future. So again, do not let anything stop you. Being a single parent or being both parents is irrespective of that. You just have to make sure that your kids are okay, and you make sure that their future is also secure. So that's all I'll say. And I believe that you have the Noren Baja team to help with this. And I like that they have the variety of products that can help both internationally and locally to Nigeria. So thank you very much for having me. I hope that we've learned a thing or two here. I look forward to seeing everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ope. Thank you, super mom convener. I'm going to go over to Mr. and Mrs. Shoyombo, Ayo, and Bukola. The fortunate ones, for me, they have an advantage. I don't really understand. Two financial experts. So please give us your final thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Binabo. We'll take that as a compliment. For us, our final words would just like to encourage parents, and I will summarize our final thought with 3 things: earn, save, and invest. Parents must try to, we've been talking about financial literacy. Parents should be able to educate their kids about how to earn money, then after earning, how to invest, how to save rather, then invest. There are many instruments. Todimu, spoke about Kickstart. There are many other products with Norembeja Asset Management Limited. For me, I was discussing with my wife and I said, parents, aside from teaching their kids, must also extend in teaching everybody. And how? By doing it practically. For instance, you have a situation whereby you have been invited for a child christening, and instead of giving cash and all that, you just get a Kickstart from Todimu.
Oh, I think I may have infected Ayo and Bukio. So, oh, wow. So, Todimu, I think I'm going to let you close because he called your name, and then you can just take it from there. Please give us your final thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Binabo, and thank you,
Oh,
Ayo.
they're
Right,
back. They're back. They're back.
they're back.
They're back. Okay,
Sorry,
let
we
them
had
just.
a slight issue with one of the devices. I was
Yes,
just
I said I infected you. Sorry.
we were saying the other time, you have been invited for a child christening, and why not just get a Kickstart from opening form from subscription form from Todimu, and ask the parent to fill the form, and that's your gift. You open that account for the kid, or you give them an account opening form for shares, and you pay maybe a token of 5,000, 10,000 to open a shares account for such a kid. And going forward, the parent can, continue to contribute regularly. The same thing with the Kickstart product. So I think that's just on a final note. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. I love that advice. This is a case of a gift that keeps giving. Thank you so much, Ayo and Buki. So Todimu, do you have your final
Yes,
thoughts ready
yes,
for
I
us?
do. Yes, I do. Thank you so much. It's been a fantastic session. So my final thoughts will be more like, I think I must have said it earlier on, but I'll just say it again. It's never too late or too early to start. Start now. And then for us as parents, right, or guardians, we should also lead by examples, right? We should not go about splurging, or should I say buying all sorts, right? Because these kids are actually watching us. And then I would also say, search for a financial advisor such as Norian Baja. We would provide you various investment options. And then to Rambaja Asset Management Limited is giving out a little token for all people, should I say for everyone who signs up and funds their account today. You will get a token of about 20,000 Naira as a top up. So we look forward to seeing your subscriptions and your sign-ups. Thank you.
Wow. You see, this is what I love about Noreen Beja. They save the best for last. So the Mu came bearing gifts. So thank you so much to all our panelists. It was such an insightful session. I heard a lot about accountability. I heard a lot about legacy. There's so much to learn. If you miss this, there's going to be an opportunity to watch the recording. Please go there. And let me just use this opportunity as well to say that, if you're in the city of Abuja, I hope you've registered your kids, because Noreen Beja, we're not just stopping here with the webinar on Children's Day. We're going to have an exciting time with the kids. So let me end by saying this. If you've been watching this and you've been wondering, Noreen Beja, who are these Noreen Beja people? So Noreen Beja is a financial services group that provides bespoke financial solutions. It covers asset management, private equity, development finance, investment banking, securities trading, pensions, insurance, fintech, and digital banking. If you're looking for us in the digital space, like I said earlier, we are at Noreen Berger on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and of course, Facebook. I had such an exciting time, but as they say, every good thing must come to an end. And I'm going to give you these words of wisdom. My father used to say something. I'm from the Niger Delta, and he used to say it in Pidgin. He say, "Money no get size," which means that there's no age restriction to who loves money, to who needs money, and to who money will be useful for. Thank you so much for joining our webinar. We hope to see you again soon. Thank you, panelists. Have a beautiful rest of the day, everyone, and a fantastic weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.